Imagine this for a moment. You sit at your dining table almost every day, sometimes to eat, sometimes just to place things down quickly, and you never question it. But what if this simple place, so familiar and overlooked, is silently influencing your financial life? What if the table where you eat is affecting why money comes and goes, why unexpected expenses keep appearing, or why opportunities seem to pass you by at the last second? This is not a metaphor. According to ancient spiritual traditions, the dining table is one of the most powerful energetic points inside a home. Certain foods act as magnets for abundance, while others disrupt the flow of money and opportunity. What if something as simple as adding the right elements could shift the energy in your home and open the door to financial blessings? In this video, I'll reveal 7 essential objects that should always be present on your dinner table if you want to attract wealth, protection, and success. Backed by feng shui, Buddhist wisdom, and the law of attraction, these ancient secrets have been used for centuries by those who understand the hidden forces that shape our reality. Are you ready to transform your dinner table into a portal of abundance? Stay with me until the end, because these simple changes could be the key to unlocking the money flow energy you've been waiting for. Before we go any further, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for powerful insights on Buddhist teachings, feng shui, and ancient wisdom. Your support helps us bring more life-changing content your way. Comment below, "I claim wealth, abundance, and prosperity in my life in 2026. This simple affirmation is your first step to aligning with the universe's prosperity. When you declare it, you activate the energy of success and financial freedom in your life. Once you start questioning the dining table, something subtle begins to shift. What seemed ordinary now carries weight. In many ancient traditions, the place where food is shared was never treated casually. It was seen as a point of convergence, where physical nourishment and invisible energy meet. The dining table was understood as a center, a place where what enters the home is symbolically received, multiplied, and distributed. Every meal became an energetic act, whether people were aware of it or not. In spiritual terms, eating is not only about feeding the body, it is about reinforcing patterns. When food is consumed in an environment of calm, respect, and order, the energy absorbed tends to stabilize and support growth. When meals happen in chaos, stress, or distraction, that same moment reinforces urgency, lack, and imbalance. Over time, these repeated moments shape perception, discipline, and the way abundance is allowed to stay. This is why the dining table was often treated like an altar, not in a religious sense, but as a sacred point of intention inside the home. An altar is not defined by candles or rituals alone. It is defined by consistency and meaning. The dining table fulfills both. It is used daily, often multiple times, and it gathers people, emotions, and focus in one place. This makes it incredibly powerful. When neglected, it becomes a silent drain. When honored, it becomes a stabilizing force. Understanding this does not require belief, only observation. The way you eat, the way you sit, and the way you treat this space subtly trains your mind and energy to either receive or resist stability. This shift in perception prepares the ground for a deeper understanding of why ancient wisdom placed so much importance on this simple piece of furniture. Across different cultures and spiritual paths, one idea appears again and again. The place where food is shared carries power. In feng shui, also known in some lineages as funu, the dining table represents abundance already present and abundance yet to come. It is associated with nourishment, continuity, and the family's relationship with resources. A strong, respected table symbolized stability. A neglected or chaotic one was believed to weaken the flow of prosperity within the home. Buddhist teachings approach this from a different angle. yet arrive at the same conclusion. Eating was treated as a mindful act, a moment of awareness and gratitude. Monks were taught that how food is received shapes attachment, discipline, and clarity. When meals are rushed, distracted, or filled with tension, the mind reinforces craving and dissatisfaction. Over time, this mental state mirrors itself in material life. The table therefore becomes a training ground for contentment or lack. Kabbalistic traditions also recognize the table as a place of multiplication. Bread, salt, and shared meals were seen as channels through which divine flow could expand or contract. Even the law of attraction in its modern language reflects this ancient understanding. What you focus on repeatedly becomes your reality. When the dining table is associated with stress, bills, and conflict, it trains the subconscious to link survival with tension. When it is associated with presence and order, it reinforces security. These teachings were never meant to be mystical fantasies. They were practical systems designed to protect balance, stability, and prosperity over generations. And their relevance becomes clearer once you recognize the patterns they were meant to correct. When people talk about financial problems, they usually focus on numbers: income, expenses, debts, salaries. But what often goes unnoticed is the pattern behind those numbers. The feeling that money never settles. The cycle of paying one bill just to be surprised by another. The sense that no matter how much effort is made, stability feels temporary and fragile. These are not just financial experiences, they are emotional patterns, and patterns are always reinforced somewhere. Inside many homes, that reinforcement happens quietly at the dining table. A place that should represent nourishment and balance slowly turns into a storage area for worries. Unpaid bills stacked in a corner. Bank statements left in sight, receipts, reminders, broken objects, things waiting to be fixed later. Every time you sit down to eat in that environment, your nervous system associates food, survival, and money with tension. Even without conscious thought, the body absorbs that message. There is also the emotional layer. Arguments during meals, complaints about money while eating, rushed bites taken while standing or staring at a screen. These moments may seem insignificant, but repetition gives them power. The dining table becomes a stage where stress is rehearsed daily. Over time, this trains the mind to expect instability, and what is expected is often recreated. This is how people begin to feel that money escapes their hands, as if something invisible is working against them. The most unsettling part is that none of this feels intentional. People are not trying to block prosperity. They are simply unaware that these habits carry energetic weight. The sabotage is subtle, automatic, and deeply normalized. But once seen, it cannot be unseen. Because the table reflects more than habits. It reflects the relationship with safety, value, and worth. Recognizing this connection is not about blame. It is about clarity. And clarity creates the space where a different pattern can finally begin to take shape. Once this pattern becomes visible, something important happens. The feeling of helplessness begins to soften, because if financial instability is being reinforced by daily habits, it also means those habits can be changed. Not with drastic measures, not with complex rituals, but with small, intentional adjustments repeated over time. This is where the idea of flow replaces the idea of struggle. Ancient teachings never framed prosperity as something dramatic or explosive. They described it as something steady, continuous, and cultivated. A flow that strengthens quietly, day after day. The dining table fits perfectly into this logic because it is one of the few places in a home that is used consistently. When adjusted with intention, it becomes a stabilizing anchor, a signal sent daily to the mind and to the energy of the home that says resources are respected here, nourishment is valued here, and what arrives is allowed to stay. This is why small changes matter more than people expect. Clearing the table, choosing what remains on it, and becoming present during meals may seem simple, but simplicity is exactly what makes it powerful. These actions interrupt old patterns without creating resistance. They slowly retrain the nervous system to associate eating, sharing, and daily life with calm and order, instead of urgency and fear. Over time, this internal shift reflects externally. Prosperity, in this sense, is not forced. It is allowed. And allowance begins where resistance was once repeated. The dining table becomes the starting point because it sits at the intersection of survival and comfort, routine and intention. When that intersection changes, the direction of flow changes with it. This understanding prepares the ground for something very specific, something tangible that organizes this flow in a clear and structured way. When ancient traditions spoke about abundance, they rarely spoke in abstract terms. They used objects, simple, tangible elements that could be seen, touched, and repeated daily. This was intentional. Symbols anchor energy into reality. And when placed on the dining table, these elements transform it from a passive surface into an active channel of prosperity. Each item carries a specific role, and together they create balance, flow, and protection. The first element is bread. Across cultures, bread has always symbolized sustenance and continuity. It represents the idea that there is enough, that nourishment will return again tomorrow. On an energetic level, bread anchors stability. It reminds the mind and the home that survival is supported, not threatened. A table that honors bread reinforces financial grounding and discourages impulsive loss. The second element is fruit. Fruits symbolize growth, reward, and visible abundance. They are the result of patience and natural cycles. Spiritually, fruit represents multiplication, the ability for effort to turn into tangible results. When fruit is present on the table, it sends a message of expansion. It trains perception to recognize abundance already present, which is essential for attracting more. The third element is olive oil, often called liquid gold in ancient texts. Oil represents flow, smoothness, and continuity. Financially, it symbolizes money that moves without friction, opportunities that open instead of resist. In spiritual traditions, oil was used for blessing and protection. On the dining table, it reinforces the idea that resources should circulate calmly, without force or blockage. The fourth element is cinnamon. Cinnamon carries fire energy. It is associated with warmth, movement, and acceleration. Historically, it was valued as a rare and precious spice, often linked to trade and wealth. Energetically, cinnamon activates stagnation. It supports opportunities arriving faster and breaks inertia. Its presence reminds the system that abundance is allowed to move, not remain dormant. The fifth element is black pepper. Unlike cinnamon, pepper is protective. It represents boundaries. In many traditions, pepper was used to ward off envy, loss, and negative interference. Financially, it symbolizes defense against leakage, unnecessary expenses, and external drains. On the table, it reinforces protection, ensuring that what comes in is not easily taken away. The sixth element is salt. Salt is one of the oldest spiritual symbols in human history. It purifies, preserves, and stabilizes. Energetically, salt grounds abundance. It reinforces discipline, responsibility, and respect for resources. Salt ensures that prosperity does not become chaotic or excessive, but structured and sustainable. It keeps growth aligned with balance. The seventh element is flowers, chosen intentionally by color. Flowers amplify energy. They bring life, beauty, and emotional harmony. Different colors resonate with different aspects of prosperity, but all flowers serve the same purpose: amplification. They lift the vibration of the table, making the entire setup more receptive. Flowers remind the home that abundance is not only about money, but about harmony and enjoyment. Individually, each element carries meaning. Together, they form a complete energetic language: stability, growth, flow, acceleration, protection, grounding, and amplification. This is not decoration. It is structure, and structure is what allows prosperity to remain consistent rather than temporary. Having the right elements on the dining table is only the first step. Ancient teachings were very clear about this. Objects hold potential, but activation comes from order, intention, and repetition. Without activation, even the most powerful symbols remain dormant. This is why some homes appear to have everything and still feel blocked. The energy is present, but it is not flowing. Activation begins with cleanliness and clarity. A table covered with excess objects, random items, or unresolved clutter sends a mixed signal. Prosperity responds to clarity. When the table is clean, visually calm, and intentionally arranged, it communicates readiness. It tells the subconscious that what arrives will be received with respect, not chaos. This alone starts retraining the relationship with resources. The second layer of activation is presence. Meals eaten in silence, calm conversation, or simple awareness carry a completely different energetic quality than meals eaten in stress or distraction. You do not need perfection. You need consistency. Sitting down, slowing your breath, and acknowledging the food in front of you is enough to shift the tone. Over time, the nervous system associates nourishment with safety instead of urgency, and that association quietly extends to money. Finally, activation requires emotional harmony. The dining table should not be a place where tension is released or worries are dumped. It is a place of reinforcement. When conversations are respectful and the atmosphere is neutral or positive, the table becomes a stabilizing anchor. This does not mean suppressing reality, but choosing timing and space wisely. When these elements come together, the dining table stops being passive. It becomes a point of alignment, a place where order replaces noise and intention replaces habit. And once alignment is established, it becomes just as important to understand what can disrupt it as what can strengthen it. Just as certain elements strengthen the flow of abundance, there are behaviors that quietly weaken it. And the reason they are so dangerous is because they feel normal. They slip into routine without resistance, slowly undoing the stability you are trying to build. The dining table, because it is used so often, magnifies whatever is placed upon it, both physically and emotionally. One of the most common mistakes is turning the table into a storage space for financial stress. Bills, unpaid invoices, bank letters, and reminders of debt carry a heavy symbolic weight. When these items sit where food is consumed, the mind blends nourishment with worry. Over time, this conditions the body to associate survival with pressure, reinforcing a cycle of tension instead of ease. The same happens with clutter. Random objects, broken items, or things waiting to be fixed signal delay and disorder, which weakens financial clarity. Another major blockage comes from emotional discharge. Arguments, complaints, and negative conversations during meals imprint stress into a moment meant for restoration. Even eating in a rush, standing up, or distracted by screens sends a message of scarcity, as if there is never enough time or calm. These habits train urgency into the nervous system, and urgency rarely attracts stability. An empty table for long periods can also reflect energetic absence. It suggests neglect rather than readiness. The dining table thrives on intention, not abandonment. None of these behaviors are about guilt. They are about awareness. Because once you see how easily prosperity can be disrupted, you also realize how much control you actually have. And that realization changes the way you relate to this space every single day. At this point, something important has already happened. You're no longer seeing your dining table the same way, and that awareness is not meant to stay isolated. In spiritual traditions, intention gains strength when it is shared. Energy multiplies when it is acknowledged collectively. This is why activation was never meant to be a private act, but a communal one. Right now, you're part of a larger field of people choosing to shift their relationship with abundance. And there is a simple way to anchor that shift. When you consciously affirm prosperity, you reinforce it not only within yourself, but within the space you belong to. This is why spoken or written intention has always mattered across ancient teachings. Words organize energy. Now I encourage you to do something powerful. Write in the comments below, "I claim wealth, abundance, and prosperity in my life in 2026. This is more than just engagement. It is a way of setting your intention into movement. Declaring your focus in a public space sends a strong, energetic message that you are ready to align with prosperity. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more content on Buddhist teachings, Feng Shui, and ancient wisdom. And don't forget to share this with someone who could use a little more prosperity in their life. Let's spread the energy of abundance together. See you in the next video.